So all of us are alive, you know, you can prove it. You can put your fingers gently on your wrist and feel your pulse. Everybody is alive. But being fully alive, well, that's a decision. You choose that. There's an old saying that the glory of God is a human being fully alive. You choose aliveness, and that kind of matters, I think. St. Francis of Assisi, apparently in the middle of winter, looked at an almond tree, and he says to the tree, "Speak to me of God." And this tree, in dead of winter, burst into bloom. It was all about aliveness, choosing to be fully and completely alive. I'm going to tell a story about Gus Mojica. I asked him before if I had permission to do this, and so he said yes. So you know that in 2000, he got shot and in the leg very severely, and he went to the hospital. He was in a coma actually for 2 weeks, and I visited him many times during that time. He was out of it, you know, and would bless him and do la unción de los enfermos, anoint his forehead with oil. And then for a month they struggled to save his leg, and they just couldn't do it. And so they amputated his leg. And when I saw him a couple days after that, I had been visiting him pretty regularly up to that point. And when I walked into his room, he looked at me and he said, "Gee, I'll never dance again." And I said, "Gus, I've seen you dance. You couldn't dance before." I said, but there was a twinkle in his eye, and there was a tear in mine. Then he was in the hospital for quite a long time, and you know, the doctors always give you these kind of markers. If you can hit this mark, and this one, we're going to let you go home, you know. So one of the ones, the markers, and you've heard this before, when people are in the hospital, they say you have to pass gas. That's one of the markers in order to be able to leave the hospital. So I walked in one day, and I looked at him, and as soon as he saw me, he just burst into bloom. And he said, "I farted." I said, "Wow, felicidades. I'll make sure you get a certificate, you know." And there was a twinkle in his eye, and there was a tear in mine. Finally, he looked at me and he said, "Gee, I'm not my leg." And that's the sound of a person choosing to be fully alive. That's the sound of a person deciding to burst into bloom. And it was about a year later that he danced at Carlos and Luz's wedding in Watsonville. Today, everybody you see is going to be making this statement to you. "Speak to me of God." And our hope is that we will all choose to burst into bloom. Amen.